What's going on, everyone? So we're here with part 3 of our Starters series, and last up is Blastoise, and surprisingly, I've played these in the order that I've posted them. Charizard first, then Venusaur, then Blastoise. If we take a look at Blastoise stats, it's the most defensive of the three, and it's got good enough attack, special, the 78 speed is kind of but we'll be outspeeding most of the things we need to. Now, if we take a look at its moveset, we get access to Withdrawal, which we'll use for badge boosting purposes, and Blastoise has a really good move pool. Dig, Earthquake, Ice Beam, Blizzard, lots of coverage. As far as, how difficult I think this run will be, if you've seen J-Rose's series of the starters and Scott's Thoughts Versus video, I think Blastoise will come out on top. But there's really only one way to find out. And I should mention also that I guess Raichu starts as a Kanto starter because Pikachu's the starter in yellow, but that video will come eventually. Let's get into the Brock battle here, which it's sped up a lot. Brock is easy. Bubble and Water Gun are more than enough to do Geodude and Onix in. As you see, Water Gun one-shots Onix, and we can make our way through Mount Moon to Cerulean to battle Misty afterwards, which I picked up Mega Punch in Mount Moon, and that really helps with this battle. X-Defend, I use Tail Whip because I want Mega Punch to do more damage, and after a few Tail Whips, I start just punching the stars. No, literally, I'm punching stars. Mega Punch is doing great damage to Staryu, and it's a 2-hit KO. But Starmie has much better stats, and of course I'm going to start with a Tail Whip beforehand. Now I'm just going to start going for Mega Punches because Starmie can also crit often, and it looks like a 4-hit KO. X-Defend, now it's definitely a 4-hit KO, and thankfully we don't miss. Misty's pretty easy, and after her we can take on Rival 2. Pidgeotto is the lead, and I didn't bother healing before this battle. Bubble Beam is doing about half. It goes for Gust, and then Quick Attack, which brings us to 1 HP, but we knock it out and level up, thankfully. Abra, it's just a 2-shot with Bubble Beam, and I didn't bother setting up any badge boost. Rattata, Bubble Beam, 1-shot, crit might have mattered, and Bulbasaur's last. Mega Punch does about half, and Leech Seed. Alright, so that battle's done. After taking out Rival 2, we can make our way to the SS Sand, where we can pick up Body Slam. But I'm not going to teach it just yet to Blastoise, even though I probably should have. And we can take on Rival 3 next. This should be a pretty easy battle. Pidgeotto is the lead. Quick Attack doesn't do a lot. Bubble Beam, that's going to be a 2-shot, 1 down. Raticate is next. Bubble Beam, 1-shots it. And we level. Next is Kadabra. I go for Bite, and we get a flinch, and we knock it out the next turn. And Ivysaur's last. Bite, we don't get a flinch, it goes for Leech Seed. Bite can't knock it out, and Vine Whip does about half our remaining HP, so Rival 3 done. And after Rival 3, we can go ahead and get Cut, and then take on Lieutenant Surge. Normally I skip Surge because, well, we're a water Pokemon, but I think Blastoise can win first try. Dig can one-shot the Voltorb, and we level. Pikachu's next, and if Dig one-shot Voltorb, it'll one-shot Pikachu, which it does here. Raichu, I'm not sure about. I go for Dig, it misses Thunderbolt, and one-shot with no crit. Alright. And Blastoise is making great time. 1 hour 6 minutes exiting Rock Tunnel? That's amazing. But let's do our Celadon shopping real quick. Namely to get TM13 Ice Beam. And then we're going to go ahead and take on Giovanni at the game corner, who is trivial. Bubble Beam knocks out both Onix and Rhyhorn in 1 hit, and Kangaskhan is a 2-shot with Bubble Beam. I'm going to skip Erica for now. We're going to go ahead and wrap up business with Pokemon Tower, and then head to Silph Co, where we're going to take on Rival 5 next. And this is about to be a true test for Blastoise to see how well it's come so far. Pidgeot is the lead. Body Slam does about half thanks to the crit, Wing Attack does a fraction, Body Slam can't knock it out, but thankfully it goes for Whirlwind and we knock it out next turn. Gyarados, I go for Body Slam. It's doing a quarter, but we paralyze it. Our next Body Slam does about another quarter, and then we get a crit. Thankfully, we knock it out after 4 Body Slams, and we level. And now I'm going to start setting up withdrawals against Growlithe. It goes for a few takedowns, which once we boost our defense, doesn't do too much damage, and it starts to cooperate by using Leer and uses Roar a few times with a takedown here and there. After we finish setting up, I'm going to go ahead and knock it out with Bubble Beam, which is a one-shot. Alakazam comes out. We don't outspeed it, but it goes for a first turn recover, and Body Slam knocks it out. Venusaur's last. I'm going to go for Dig, and we don't one-shot, and Razor Leaf crits and KOs us. Alright, so we're going to try that again, and we're going to change up our moveset a little bit here. We have Ice Beam now, and I've gone and gotten Earthquake. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of Bubble Beam in place of Ice Beam, and we're going to get rid of Body Slam in place of Earthquake. And with these two moves, will the fight go better this time? Let's find out. I imagine that it will. Once again, Pidgeot is the lead. This time we have the super effective Ice Beam, which does 3/4. Wing Attack crits, but we knock it out next turn. Gyarados comes out next. Ice Beam isn't doing much to it. It misses Leer, and then we get a lucky Freeze. So that's pretty clutch. Fortunately, none of our other moves except Ice Beam can hit it, so we have to use Ice Beam to knock it out. We level after Gyarados again, and once again, I'm going to start setting up on Growlithe, just to try to get some badge boosts for extra attack, and I want this so that I can KO Venusaur in one shot with Earthquake, because Razor Leaf will take us down. After I'm done setting up some on Growlithe, I'm going to go for Earthquake and knock it out in one hit. Alakazam is next. It still outspeeds. Earthquake one-shots it. And I just remembered, I don't have Koga's badge, so of course it outspeeds. Earthquake is not a one-shot on Venusaur, but thankfully it goes for Leech Seed and we take it down. And while we're here at Silph, let's go ahead and wrap up business by taking down Giovanni. This fight is pretty trivial. Nidorino is the lead. Earthquake doesn't quite one-shot it, which I'm poisoned from the rocket before Giovanni. Very unfortunate, but this battle's still easy. You see we took down Nidorino. Kangaskhan, Earthquake, Guard Spec, Earthquake, hurt by poison, Tail Whip to badge boost us, Earthquake, we knock it out. Now against Rhyhorn, I have to go for Dig because, well, I'm out of PP for both Ice Beam and Earthquake because I didn't bother healing before this battle. Wanted to save time, so Dig knocks out Rhyhorn. Last is Nidoqueen, and Dig, that's doing over half, okay. So it's gonna be a two-shot. Dig, it misses, and we knock it out. Now that we're done with Silph, we can heal, and then we can take on Sabrina, who, this battle should be pretty easy as well. Let's find out. As we know, Kadabra is going to be the lead. It outspeeds and goes for Disable. Thankfully it disables Withdraw. Earthquake can knock it out. Mr. Mime is next. Earthquake, it hangs on and goes for a weak double slap that does 4 HP total, and we knock it out the next turn. Venomoth is next. Earthquake does about half, and it goes for Stun Spore and hits. Then hits a weak Leech Life, and we knock it out the next turn. Alright, Alakazam's last. It misses Psywave, Earthquake, does about half, it goes for Reflect, and hangs on from Earthquake. Sabrina heals it, and at this point, I keep going for Earthquake while Alakazam is using Psywave. And eventually it's going to start using Recover. So I get this idea, I'm just going to go for Ice Beam because it could probably do more at this point to try to get a lucky freeze. After a few turns of Alakazam using Reflect, Recover, Reflect, Recover, we finally get the lucky freeze. And with that, we're able to knock it out and defeat Sabrina. Now, we can go ahead and backtrack and take on Erica, who at our now overpowered level should be pretty easy. In fact, only 2 of her Pokemon hit me. Earthquake can't one-shot Victory Bell and it gets off a Razor Leaf. Tangela is going to be one-shot with Ice Beam, and against Vileplume I went for Earthquake. And Petal Dance hits me, doesn't knock me out, we take it out the next turn. And from there, we can go to Cycling Road to make our way to Fuchsia and take on Koga, who, just like Erica, is almost a clean sweep. Earthquake does Coughing number 1 in, one-shots the Muck, will one-shot Coughing number 2, and Wheezing is a 2-hit KO with it. pretty easy. And then we can make our way to Blaine, who, just like Erica and Koga, Earthquake is going to be our bread and butter here. It one-shots both Growlithe and Ponyta. Rapidash is a 2-hit, but retroactive Super Potion. And Arcanine is the only Pokemon that does damage to us with Takedown. And with 7 gym badges in hand, we can go and take on Giovanni, who is also very easy. Against the Rhyhorn, Ice Beam one-shots it. You can see I didn't heal before this battle. For some reason I went for Dig on Dugtrio instead of just going for Ice Beam right away. We take it out over 2 turns. We crit with Ice Beam on Nidoqueen, and Ice Beam is a 2-shot on Nidoking. And against Rhyhorn, it's also a 2-shot. That's all 8 gym badges down. 2 hours 23 minutes going into the Rival 6 fight. Blastoise is on a roll. But can it keep it up against Rival 6? Let's find out. Pidgeot is the lead. I go for Ice Beam, and it does 3/4. It goes for Whirlwind and Quick Attack, which doesn't do much. We knock it out the next turn. Against Rhyhorn, I'm going to start setting up withdrawals for badge boost purposes. And when it actually attacks me, its attacks aren't doing too much. It does get a lucky crit here and there, which I think Rhyhorn has maybe a 5% chance to crit. Not sure of the exact math. I know there's a link in the video description for all crit chances. Anyway, Ice Beam knocks it out, and then we level up. Great! Against Gyarados, Ice Beam isn't doing too much, but our second one freezes it. All our badge boosts for nothing against Rhyhorn, so this kinda sucks. Against Growlithe, I accidentally misclick Ice Beam, almost knocks it out, and then Earthquake takes care of it. Alakazam comes out, it outspeeds and goes for our first turn recover, and Earthquake does half. It then hits Psybeam, which does over 50 HP. We knock it out the next turn. Venusaur's last. Earthquake does maybe 1/4, and Vine Whip takes me out. So let's try this again with an updated moveset, and some rare candies to boost our level. You'll see that I have Blizzard and Hydro Pump now, which Blizzard one-shots Pidgeot. Rhyhorn is next, and because we've used rare candies, we don't have to worry about leveling up after it this time. Once again, because we're boosting our defense, its attacks don't do much except for the lucky crit it gets, which I still need to look up that crit chance. Anyway, a few more badge boosts, and then we're going to go ahead and take Rhyhorn out with Ice Beam, which we do momentarily. Now, we actually use Earthquake to take it out. That's okay though. Gyarados is next, Blizzard, and one-shot. Oh yeah, I said Ice Beam for Rhyhorn, but we don't have it anymore. Earthquake takes out Growlithe, nice. And Alakazam is next. We outspeed now. Earthquake, one-shots. Awesome. Venusaur's last. Blizzard, is it enough to one-shot? Yes, it is. And now we can head to Lorelei in the league. Which, it took me a few tries to beat Lorelei. A lot of trial and error battles, because I don't really have any attacks that can do huge chunks of damage to her Pokemon. They all resist my water and ice moves, and Earthquake doesn't really deal enough damage. I even tried putting Fissure on my moveset, but had the worst luck with it. Cloyster was a huge troll because of its ability to confuse me and its 180 base defense. Anyway, I did end up finding a strat that would work eventually. You'll see in this battle, my moveset now has Blizzard, Earthquake, Withdraw, and Toxic. I open up with Earthquake against Dugong, and it retaliates with Takedown. Didn't expect that. Use another Earthquake, and now it used Rest. I was expecting Rest after the first turn. While it's asleep, I go ahead and set up 2 withdraws. Another Earthquake, crit, doesn't take it down, but it uses Takedown and crits, and our second Earthquake knocks it out. Against Cloyster, I'm going to use Toxic because, well, we can just have that damage build up over time, and its high 180 base defense won't be a problem. While Toxic is doing its thing, I try to set up withdrawals for badge boosts, but I'm confused and I keep hitting myself. While Cloyster just keeps going for Spike Cannon, it's the most annoying thing ever. Eventually I do snap out of it, only to get confused again and hit myself again. For Lorelei to use a Super Potion, and Toxic finally does its job taking out Cloyster, but we only have 43 HP left. Against Slowbro, I'm also going to use Toxic, and I believe it's just going to spam Growl and Amnesia because its other attacks aren't very effective against me. So while it's spamming Growl, Withdraw, and Amnesia, I set up my own withdrawals. And I know Earthquake isn't going to do much, which it doesn't here, and Toxic does its thing. Jinx is next. I'm hoping that all those withdrawals are enough. Not quite, but Jinx has weak attack, and Brash does 5 HP, I believe, there. And we knock it out. But we level after knocking out Jinx, so all the badge boosts for nothing. Thankfully, our defense is super boosted, so Body Slam isn't doing too much damage, and when we hit ourselves, we're not doing too much damage either. It's just a matter of, can we outlast Lapras for Toxic to do its thing? And we get through with an Earthquake, which really helps, and Toxic is able to knock it out. So, Lorelei, super nail-biter of a battle. And next is Bruno, who, well, there really isn't much to say about Bruno, but we have to show the battle, so let's just get into it. Blizzard one-shots the Onix, Blizzard one-shots Hitmonchan, Blizzard one-shots Hitmonlee, Blizzard one-shots Onix number 2, and Blizzard misses, then hits, then Toxic, then a Earthquake to finish Machamp. So yeah, Bruno, easy. And Agatha, just as easy as well. But I do slip up here, and you'll see how. And I felt really stupid for this mistake because Blastoise finally had a strategy for Lorelei, and I thought it was going to get through the league here. Anyway, Gengar number 1 comes out, Earthquake, and not quite enough to knock it out. It puts me to sleep with Hypnosis. She uses a Super Potion, then confuses me. I then knock it out with Earthquake. Golbat is next, and Blizzard hits, and doesn't knock it out, but we freeze it, and I'm out of Blizzard PP. And none of my other attacks can hit Golbat, so that's a quick reset, and back to Agatha. Alright, Earthquake on Gengar number 1, we crit in one shot. Perfect. Alright, Golbat's next. I have all my Blizzard PP, and we get a favorable range to knock it out. Haunter is after that. Earthquake should one-shot it, and does. Perfect. Against Arbok, I go for Earthquake, and doesn't quite one-shot. Retroactive Super Potion. Earthquake knocks it out the next turn. And last is Gengar number 2. It confuses me. I hit myself. It uses Nightshade. I'm confused and hit with Earthquake, and almost knock it out. It goes for Toxic. We're no longer confused and get through. Agatha, once I restored my PP, very easy, and I just didn't get a favorable range in that first battle. And for Lance, we have all our Blizzard PP, so let's get into this battle, which is also fairly easy. Gyarados is the lead. I'm going to set up Toxic. It goes for Dragon Rage. And now, Blizzard, that crit does about half okay. Toxic takes its toll, and another Blizzard knocks it out. Dragonair number 2, I'm going to go for Earthquake. Does about half. Hyper Beam, that's okay. We can set a withdrawal on the recharge turn. Earthquake still doesn't knock it out. So we'll set up another withdrawal, and Earthquake finishes Dragonair number 1. Dragonair number 2 comes out. Blizzard, one shot. I don't want to waste any more time here. Aerodactyl's next. We outspeed and miss. Bite doesn't do much, and we hit our second Blizzard. Alright, last is Dragonite. As long as we hit Blizzard, we'll win. Blizzard hits and one-shots. So once we got a good enough strategy for Lorelei, the league was pretty easy. But last is the champion. Blastoise is poised to finish with the best time out of all my Pokemon that I've ran. I'm going to use my remaining rare candies and get rid of Toxic for Surf, since we no longer need it. Surf will be a lot more useful for Rhydon and Arcanine than Toxic would be. And I didn't have anything in the script for this part here. This is all just ad-lib, but let me know in the comments if you thought Blastoise would post the best time of the 3, or if you thought it would be Venusaur or Charizard. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get to the champion battle. Let's see if Blastoise can do it on its first attempt. Pidgeot is the lead, of course. And we're going to go for Blizzard. We outspeed, we hit, we one-shot. Perfect. One down. Alakazam is next. It outspeeds and goes for Reflect. I'm going to use Earthquake. That's probably not going to do much. One-shots thanks to a crit. Okay. Against Rhydon, I'm just going to set up withdrawals here. Get as much badge boost as I can. You see that it's not really doing much with Fury Attack. And when it uses Leer or Tail Whip, that's helping. We knock it out with Surf eventually. Blizzard against the Gyarados. With all those badge boosts, we one-shot it. Perfect. Arcanine is next. Surf. And this will one-shot it. And down it goes. Perfect. But we level. Alright, Venusaur. Blizzard, how much will this do? It does over half, and it goes for Solar Beam. So we hit, and we're gonna win. Blastoise. This was a great run. Blastoise did very well. The fact that it has access to Ice Beam, Blizzard, and Earthquake definitely help. This is definitely an A-tier Pokemon. But the question is, can it overthrow Kingler for the top spot? Well, a final level of level 59 and an in-game time of 2 hours 55 minutes. The best time I've posted by any Pokemon on the channel. Blastoise has earned itself the top spot. And I've actually redone my tier list a little bit, as you'll see here. I've got Blastoise as the lone Pokemon in S rank for the top spot, but I've wanted to redo that some and include other Pokemon in the S tier ranking. Because Kingler definitely had an S tier playthrough. I believe Gengar and Mr. Mimes, even though their time might not say it, are definitely S tier type Pokemon. But I could also try and redo those runs eventually. And I've also included Sneasel for the Lone Sanqui run on the channel. And then, of course, Pokemon that are impossible, such as Caterpie, Metapod, and Kakuna in Red and Blue. Anyways, thank you for the continued support on the channel. I'm glad to kick February off by ending the starter series, and we've also got a great Let's Play in Parasite Eve kicking off as well. As always, like, comment, subscribe, thank you for the continued support, and I'll see you in the next run.